In all honesty, if we were to make a video about all the important references and Easter eggs in this film, we'd be here all day. Ready Player One somehow was able to juggle a cohesive story full of heart along with a whole bunch of awesome pop culture references. Some of them you saw in the trailers, such as the Iron Giant, King Kong, and Harley Quinn, but there's a plethora of other characters and bigger picture references to dive into. From blink and you'll miss it characters to some changes from the books, here's a hearty list just for you. Some spoilers may be ahead. Before we get started, be sure to click on that subscribe button to get all the latest content from Screen Rant in your feed every day.
God, I love being a turtle!
Reptiles. Towards the end of the film, a giant battle ensues between the villainous IOI Corporation, led by Ben Mendelsohn's Nolan Sorrento, and Wade Watts, aka Parzival, who's played by Ty Sheridan. He calls upon the help of the Oasis, the virtual reality that most of the film is set in. Many players join the battle, and you'll have to watch the movie a few times to catch all the cool pop culture references people brought to battle. One that we caught a few times was none other than the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We found them a few times in the battle, as part of the initial charge and dishing out the moves in battle. Fighting alongside them were the Battletoads from the video game of the same name. Made by Rare in 1991, it's great to see the Toads and Turtles fighting alongside one another, even if only for a moment. Street Fighter. Part of the charm of Ready Player One on screen or on the page is that the references include all manner of pop culture, from film, television, and video games. The film updated things a bit for modern audiences, and that means we got to see a whole bunch of new characters hit the big screen. Being one of the most popular fighting games ever made, Street Fighter no doubt gets a few nods. Some of the World Warriors can be seen in the film, from Ryu, Chun-Li, and Blanka. But the love of the series doesn't stop there, as Parzival uses a Hadouken attack on Sorrento during the climactic finale. We have to admit, seeing that was a real crowd pleaser.
Your move, creep.
RoboCop. While RoboCop himself wasn't in the film, Ready Player One did have sly references to the hit 80s film in its opening racing sequence. That sequence was chock full of references, from the racers to the monsters that terrorized them, which included King Kong and the Tyrannosaurus Rex. As Artemis makes the jump over H in his monster truck, we get our little wink towards RoboCop. A poster can be seen on a building in the background with Delta City visible. Those who've seen the acclaimed film will get the reference, which highlights the ideal utopian vision of Detroit in the film by OCP.
Too bright. Nice hat.
Firefly. Referenced in a different manner in the book, Spielberg managed to please fans of the canceled TV series in the film nonetheless. In the book, Parzival is the proud owner of a Firefly-class ship, commonly known to us as the Serenity from the show Firefly and the movie Serenity, both created by none other than Joss Whedon. When Daito transforms into a Gundam, specifically the RX-78-2 class Gundam, he leaps out of the Firefly ship, giving us two insanely awesome references at one time. Seriously, when did we ever think we'd see that happen?
Trying to crash another party, love?
Overwatch and Lara Croft. Overwatch took gaming by storm in 2016, offering gamers a competitive, fun, and crazy arena shooter that harkened back to older games while simultaneously being its very own thing. Part of the fun was over-the-top characters that you could play as, each with their own loadouts and weapons. While there's no main character to the game, the marketing and fanbase have seemingly chosen Tracer as the game's mascot, and she's seen twice in the movie, along with another popular female game character. Both Tracer and Lara Croft of the Tomb Raider games can be seen together at the Distraction Globe, an out-of-this-world club complete with a sky dancing. The pair could again be seen in the final battle, standing almost side by side with one another. Back to the Future / Knight Rider. It's hard to miss the DeLorean in Ready Player One. It's the primary mode of transportation Parzival uses in the film, using it in the opening race sequence and the epic final battle. The DeLorean, of course, is from Back to the Future, but this particular model has more than one movie reference going on. On the front of Parzival's own DeLorean, another film reference can be seen hiding in plain sight. For those who grew up in the 80s or just love the 80s in general, you'll have noticed that this model is equipped with KITT's sensor from the hit TV series Knight Rider. In the series, which starred David Hasselhoff, KITT was a 1982 Pontiac Firebird that had an advanced robotic system inside of it as well, allowing it to talk and work on its own. Oh, the 80s.
One 1 million space bucks, we'll be able to pay off Pizza the Hut.
Give me paw.
Spaceballs. We were told there would be no Star Wars references in Ready Player One, but surprise, there are. You'll have to look really, really hard to find R2-D2 in an X-Wing though, so keep your eyes open for the iconic designs. The Millennium Falcon is name-dropped along with the term Padawan, but the film actually has a reference that in turn is a parody of a galaxy far, far away. In H's garage, a fun treat can be found for fans of Lone Star. Yep, that's right, she has a copy of Eagle 5 stashed away. That's the Winnebago Chieftain 33 that Lone Star and Barf use in Mel Brooks' Star Wars parody. Brownie points if you know that the flying caravan was actually called the Eagle 5.
Now would be a very good time to leave.
Punch it.
Halo. One of the launch titles for the original Xbox. Man, that was a long time ago. Halo has become one of the most popular first-person shooter games of all time, having released games across all 3 Xbox generations and expanding into books and comics over the years as well. So when Parzival makes a call to arms towards the end of the film, thousands of players join the fight. Some of them have unique avatars, while others take some based on their pop culture heroes. One clan was modeled entirely after the characters in Halo, with the Master Chief charging into battle with some fellow Spartans and an elite. This wasn't the only Halo reference in the movie though. When H was being introduced and fighting on Planet Doom, he was using the standard Marine assault rifle from the game. Yep, this game has an orc fighting Freddy using Halo weapons. Just let that sink in for a second. Adventure. The final challenge sees Parzival and IOI going up against a retro game known as Adventure. While the Ready Player One film changed and added a lot to make it more appealing to contemporary audiences, this one thankfully remained. The book focused almost exclusively on films and games from the 80s, but seeing as the film needed to appeal to a wider audience, modern films and games were added. In the book, Parzival plays Tempest and recreates Monty Python, which brings him to Adventure. That would have been cool to see, but Spielberg elected to cut straight to Adventure, which is one of the oldest references in the film. Nice to see that this one didn't get changed all too much. No Spielberg, but Steven Spielberg was adamant in the marketing of the film that there would be no references to his own works in the final cut of the film. This initially bummed out many fans of the book, as Spielberg's influence could be felt throughout the book with the references of his own work. There's no doubt the director helped shape a generation, but he also didn't want to put too much attention on himself. But that doesn't mean the film was totally devoid of references. While not 100% unique to Jurassic Park, a T-Rex is seen early on in the film chomping away at cars. The excuse being that the Rex could be from any film, but let's be real here. How many other Rexes do we know outside of the Jurassic Park series? The soundbite is also on point, allowing us to get a self-referential Spielberg reference in the end. Many racing cars. The start of the film was chock full of movie references. In a daring race, Parzival, Artemis, and hundreds of other players in the Oasis make a mad dash to the finish line. Being avatars, many of these drivers sport cars from hit films and television shows. Aside from the DeLorean, we can see Artemis driving Kaneda's bike from the beloved anime film Akira, and H using a Bigfoot monster truck. But there's more to the race than just that. Mad Max's V8 Interceptor can be seen in the race, and the Mach 5 from Speed Racer was seen at the starting line along with Christine, the red car from the Stephen King novel of the same name. Other vehicles include the Adam West era Batmobile, Tron's Light Cycle, and the A-Team van. What did you spot in this scene? Let us know in the comments down below.
Well, shake it up, baby, now. Shake it up, baby. Twist and shout. Twist and shout.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Parzival and Nolan have a brief conversation concerning the works of John Hughes and Shermer High School. And why wouldn't they? The director and his legacy have defined a generation and are considered to be some of the best films ever made. But the banter between the hero and villain isn't the only reference that John Hughes got. Inside H's warehouse, another Hughes reference is waiting. Eagle-eyed fans will have noticed that there's a 1961 Ferrari 250 GT SWG, the same car that Ferris Bueller and his friends drove around in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. At least this one hasn't been smashed to bits yet. Say anything. When the gang headed to the cinema for the second challenge, the possibility of reliving Say Anything was brought up initially. Directed by Cameron Crowe and starring John Cusack, the film would go down in history for its famous boombox scene towards the end of the film. Ready Player One did more than just reference the classic, though. When the Oasis goes to war, Parzival takes the same boombox from the film and blasts Twisted Sister's "We're Not Gonna Take It" off of it. If you're going to say anything to the man, that song pretty much says it all.
This Tom Sawyer, he gets high on you, and the space he invades, he gets by on you.
Rush. All three of the challenges in the book were changed in some way or another for the film. The second challenge in the novel completely changed it up, but the way they did it in the film was clever and fun. In the novel, though, it's Parzival's and Holiday's love of the band Rush that wins the way. While Rush isn't in the film, nor is their music, the song Tom Sawyer is played in the very first trailer, which in turn can be seen as an Easter egg for those who've read the book. Joust. Fans of the book will have no doubt noticed the major change to the very first challenge, where in the film it was an impossible-to-beat race, complete with King Kong as a final boss. The book took a much more nuanced approach by having Parzival play the game Joust. Now, there's a good chance most people today don't even know Joust, which is why it was changed for the film, but it was not forgotten. For one, we can see the Joust Knight on Planet Doom near the beginning, but even cooler is that Halliday had a poster of the old-school arcade game on his wall as a child. Way to Easter egg the book there. Man, what a great Easter egg. Well, that's it for now, everybody. What did you think of the film adaptation of Ready Player One? Which Easter egg or reference was your favorite in the film, and which one are you bummed you missed out on? Let us know in the comments below, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more awesome videos just like this one in your playlist every day. Thanks for watching!